Hi, welcome back to the Pleasure Project with Dr. Jen Kennedy. So today I'm talking about a recent topic that I wrote about that got a lot of interest, and that is the sleep divorce. So this is something that has come into the room recently, and it's the idea of sleeping apart. So you're not actually divorcing, but you're divorcing from sleeping together. And I feel like a lot of couples grapple with this because as we get older, stuff starts to go south. And so that includes aches and pains. It includes sometimes like restless legs. It also definitely includes snoring. And if one of you is having one of these conditions, then it's probably disrupting the sleep for both of you. And so it comes up as a couples issue because people really want to sleep together, right? They like that closeness, they like that familiarity. It feels like what we're supposed to do is sleep together. And yet their sleep is suffering. Like they aren't getting good sleep. It's proving to be really unsettling and causing daytime problems because they're tired, which means they're more cranky, which means they're less resourced. And so they tend to start to see some other relational fallout from that. They might also be seeing interpersonal or professional fallout, that type of thing. But your sleep is so important. It is how we recharge, it's how we reset. And so if you aren't sleeping well, then likely it's going to start taking a toll on your relationship too. So when I talk to couples about this, or if there's been a few individuals that have come in and said, is this the end of the relationship if I do this? And I say, no, it's definitely not. I just thought I'd unpack some of the considerations, however, that are involved in this. One thing that first comes to mind as I think about the sleep divorce is who is leaving the bedroom and how does that get decided? Do you have a comfortable place for both parties to sleep? Ideally, you would have another bedroom where you could go, because if one person's kicked to the couch, that is also going to be less sleep and less privacy and less comfort. And that creates its own problem. So ideally, if there's a way that you could figure out collectively to have both parties have a comfortable sleeping space, I think that's kind of fair if possible, or do the best you can. The next consideration would be, how do you still have connection? How do you're not proximity wise, you don't have access to one another in the same way. So how do you still make an effort to connect? And that might be last thing at night, that might be first thing in the morning, or at other points. But those are kind of the natural times when it's still likely is going to be possible. Can you make an effort to have some connecting time? And what does that look like? Who initiates? And what is the expectation? Because as you start to veer into your separate spaces, your wind down period might start earlier and earlier. Like you want to have time to look, through your emails or kind of do your wind down process of music or meditation or whatever. And so as you start to sort of claim your spaces and move apart, you don't want that to be just sort of like what you eat dinner and then you separate. No, it's like, how do you have some sort of ritual or expectation that feels, like it serves the relationship too. So I think it's good to be mindful of that. It's good to have some sense of like kind of what is the relationship doing collectively in this, and how do we take care of it? So when you think about this idea, does it bring you relief? Like, do you sleep better when you sleep alone? I think most people probably do. And what kind of arises for you as you consider doing this? Do you feel guilty? Do you feel sad? Do you feel fear? Like, what's coming up that makes it seem like it's not a good idea, or that it's threatening somehow to the relationship? Because if you knew that actually this decision would help both of you feel more rested and happy, you might feel more inclined to move toward it. But there has to be that recognition of like what's getting lost in the current situation. Now, the other piece is you certainly can try to work through some of the existing issues. Some couples really do great with earplugs, and there's the basic kind. There's also like the more high powered ones, like the wax ones or something like that, that work with your specific ear shape. There's also, like, if snoring is the issue, there's a CPAP, or there's a device that can shift the jaw and help with snoring. There's also medication if it's restless leg and your body is moving a lot and that type of thing. There's medication that can address this, but there's sort of levels of addressing what is happening that is causing this problem that is ultimately affecting the relationship that needs to happen. So are you willing to have that open conversation with your partner? And if so, and it doesn't work with these interventions, are you willing to go to the next level and try sleeping apart? And if so, then how do you make sure that you still caretake the relationship? How do you still feel connected and loving with one another? So that's the challenge. And I absolutely think it's possible, but I think it has to be intentional. And you've got to be, I think, in collaboration about making it work so that it doesn't feel like it's this sentence that one of you is getting, where you're getting like sent to the couch because you're snoring or, whatever, the other person's picking up their pillow and going, because that's causing resentment and it's not intentional, right? You're not meaning to do the thing that's disruptive, but it's just a factor. It's a new factor within this configuration that needs to be addressed. And so I'm a big fan of saying, hey, let's sit down and be practical about this, and let's be fair to both of us so that we can have a better outcome. So I would love to hear your comments. And if you have any ideas or solutions that address sleep divorce, let's hear it. So thanks for listening.